So we are here today. Well, I'm really here today to share with you what happened to me when I was in 7th grade. I was 12 years old, so a couple years younger than you guys. I grew up in a suburb of Boston. It was a town called Framingham, and I went to a middle school called Farley, hence the Farley Project. And I was in like the popular group, you know, we were kind of obnoxious. We were the cool, cliquey group of girls. And yeah. And one day my best girlfriend decided not to be my best girlfriend anymore. I don't know why. I got a phone call saying that, you know, she was mad at me. And then the next day there were 3 more friends that were mad at me. And then 5 more friends, and 10 more friends, and eventually it spread throughout the entire grade, and then it spread throughout the entire school. And I didn't know why, it started like that. And I remember going into the cafeteria and walking up to our group and sitting down at our table, and they all got up and walked away. Which, yeah, totally didn't feel good, you know, it doesn't feel good. And then the next day I went, sat down, they all got up and walked away. And so I started eating lunch alone in the cafeteria, which sucked, you know, it wasn't pleasant. But what got worse was when I started getting food thrown at me. And then I started getting gum thrown in my hair. And if you get gum thrown in your hair, it doesn't come out, you have to cut it out. So I'm a girl, you know, it's my hair, I don't want to cut my hair. I got eggs. I got an egg thrown at me once in the lunchroom. Yeah. No, you guys, it's not funny. I mean, it's like, this happens in every school. Like, things like this happen, but I started pretending that I was sick during lunch. I would go and I would pretend that I was sick, and I would sit in the nurse's office. And when I couldn't pretend that I was sick anymore, I would eat lunch alone in the bathroom. And I would go in the bathroom stall, and I would sit on the toilet and put my legs up. And I ate lunch in the bathroom stall every day for about 4 months. And I don't know if that's happened to any of you in here, but it doesn't feel good. You know, it's a bad feeling. I got to my locker. Do you guys have lockers here? Yeah. I got to my locker one day, and in big black letters it said, "Die bitch," right down my locker. Yeah, and we didn't, you know, this is like 22 years ago, so we didn't have social media then, so our locker was our Facebook wall. So that was bad. I remember getting letters sent to me, letters put in my locker, notes thrown at me. You know, below is a list of 300 people who have promised to make your life a living hell. You should either kill yourself or move. And things like this went on every day. I remember another time a girl sold tickets. People paid $1 a ticket to watch me get beat up after school. Yeah, and I was like a little girl. You know, I think when there are fights, or when people get teased, you fight back, you know, or you take it. And I took it. And I remember, I mean, this is almost 25 years ago that this happened to me, and I remember exactly how I felt sitting on the bus, like knowing that I was going to get beat up at the end of my street, and a big crowd of people around me. And I remember getting, you know, pushed to the ground, and I stood up and I got pushed to the ground, and I walked to my neighbor's house, like the closest house that I could get to. And this went on for months. I slept in bed with my parents every night. My parents would go to the school. They wanted to move, but I wasn't gonna let the group, you know, drive me into another school. I was at least strong enough. And, you know, I actually consider myself lucky because, for 2 reasons. So, by the time we got to 8th grade, our 7th grade closed. And our 7th grade closed, and I went to a new 8th grade, a new middle school, and I was able to try to make friends with like 500 new kids. So every time I try to make friends, the old group would go and try to steal them away, but I eventually made new friends, and by the time I got to high school, it was over. But for me, at 3 o'clock, when school was over and I was home, it was done. You know, we got prank phone calls, like my house got prank phone calls, we didn't have cell phones then, our house got egged, my parents' car got egged, but it was over until the next day when I would go back to school and it would start all over again. And now, you guys have social media, when this is happening to people, it doesn't end. Like, I can't imagine it. Kids come home from school, and I'm sure, like, even sitting up here, you know, I've done a couple of these assemblies, looking out in the room, I can tell just in a minute, you know, who it's happening to, who's doing it, because half of you guys, you know, are looking at me, and half of you guys are kind of laughing and looking down, and it's like you can't hide. You know, I'm sitting up here, I can see all of you. You guys have the power to act differently. You guys have the power to change your behavior, you know? Bullying, it's kind of become a buzzword now, and people use it so freely. You're bullying me, but I want you guys to think about kindness, you know? I want, first of all, the people that it's happening to, I want you really, truly to know that there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you, you know? It's not you. There was nothing wrong with me. So many kids say, what did you do? I didn't do it. You're the person that it's happening to. If you're getting laughed at, if you are being made fun of, if you're getting teased online, it has nothing to do with you, and it has everything to do with the people that are being mean. You know? I think that the mindset is that kids will be kids and it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal. And I don't want to sit here and tell those of you if you're being mean, because listen, it's human nature. Like, it's easy to be mean. It's easy to be obnoxious. It just kind of comes out, you know? There's nothing wrong with you. You're not bad kids. You just don't feel good. Because if you felt good, you wouldn't act that way. If you felt happy, you wouldn't be nasty. You know, happy people are nice to others. When you feel good about yourself, you're gonna smile at someone. When you feel like hurt people hurt other people. So I think in schools, if you're mean, you're considered cool. You know, if you're like in a clique and you don't let somebody who looks different than you in, that's considered cool. That's not cool, that's weak. You guys, that's weak. It's cool to be kind. You know, I remember there were three guy friends who were nice to me when the whole thing was going on. And I remember their kindness, you know? That takes bravery, that's hard to do. Listen, like, if somebody's sitting alone in the cafeteria, you don't want to be, you know, it's hard to be that person that's going to walk over and sit with them, but you literally, with that action alone, you could change somebody's life. You could change somebody's life by extending just a little bit of kindness. You know, if you walk down the street and you see a homeless person, you know, sitting there, smile at them. You know, it's gonna make, do you know how few people actually look at that person and smile at them? But you all have the power to do that every day. Every minute of every day is a new chance to change your own life, you know? And I know that you have pressures and you're in school and it's stressful. Don't take it out on each other. You guys, you gotta help each other. I don't know what you guys are doing online and social media, but I'll tell you that, I mean, I run a pretty major PR agency. You know, I'm partners with my sister. We have an office in New York and LA, and a lot of my friends run like top fashion lines, top legal offices. They're doctors, we're lawyers, we're stylists. We do all of that industry stuff. I have friends that run record labels, and the first thing every single one of us does when we get a resume is I go on your Facebook page, and I can look and see if you're being nasty, if you're making fun of people. You do not get a job at my company. And you don't get a job at any of my friends' companies. That stuff stays with you, and it's not, I'm not trying to put like fear in you, it's a fact. So I just want you to be a little bit mindful of how you treat each other. You know, you guys, you all have the power, literally, to be a hero. You have the power to be a hero and to change each other's life. And I don't want you to take it lightly, because I can guarantee you that at least one person in this room probably goes home from school and cries. At least one person in this room probably does not want to come to school because they feel anxious or whatever it is. And you all sitting here, and there's like 200 of you, you could help that one person. Just look at each other, you know? Look at yourselves in the mirror in the morning and tell yourself that you're a rock star, because I see rock stars. You know, I see rock stars, and you might not feel good about yourself. It's like we're conditioned to look at ourselves in the mirror, and we're conditioned to see our flaws, to see a pimple, to see bags under our eyes, you know, or your hair doesn't look good, whatever it may be. Look at yourself and tell yourself that you're amazing. You need to start with you. You know, you need to love yourself. You need to love yourself and then go spread it. So that's my message for today.